What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and share this video, because what's happening right now in Angola is nothing short of explosive, tragic, and deeply unsettling. A wave of unrest has gripped the nation, and it's spiraling out of control. What began as a protest has now turned into something far more dangerous, deadly, and chaotic. Reports coming out of Angola are shocking. At least 22 people have lost their lives, and thousands more have been arrested as the government clamps down hard in a desperate attempt to crush the uprising. And yes, this is happening right now in 2025, not in some far-off history book. Let's take a step back and look at how it all started. The protests began as peaceful demonstrations driven by growing frustration over worsening economic conditions, rising unemployment, and the ever-tightening grip of President João Lourenço's government. People took to the streets to demand better governance, more transparency, and above all, dignity. For years, Angolans have felt the weight of a broken system, a political elite enriched by oil wealth while the majority of citizens battle daily for basic survival. Bread prices have doubled, fuel subsidies have been slashed, and youth unemployment is pushing past crisis levels. What we are witnessing now is a population that has simply had enough. But what was supposed to be a peaceful call for justice has now been met with brutal force. Security forces have responded with rubber bullets, live ammunition, arrests, and aggressive tactics meant to intimidate, silence, and dismantle the movement. Video footage circulating online shows armed police dragging protesters into trucks, helicopters flying low over crowded streets, and young people being beaten in broad daylight. Angolan authorities have imposed internet blackouts in some regions, attempting to suppress the scale of the unrest and block images from reaching the global stage. But it's not working. The world is watching, and what it sees is a government turning on its own people. Civil society organizations and human rights groups have confirmed that the death toll has now reached 22. Many of these were young protesters, some teenagers, who simply wanted to be heard. They died holding cardboard signs. They died chanting for a future that doesn't include fear and hunger. And thousands more are now sitting in overcrowded jails, with no access to legal representation, no charges, and no idea when, or if, they'll be released. President João Lourenço has come out with a stern public address, calling the protesters thugs and insurgents, accusing them of being manipulated by foreign powers, and promising that order will be restored at all costs. That phrase, at all costs, is haunting, because we're seeing exactly what those costs look like. Blood on the streets. Parents burying their children. Families living in terror. And still, the people keep coming. From Luanda to Benguela, from small towns to sprawling urban centers, the anger has not been extinguished. If anything, it's spreading. And it's no longer just about economic despair. It's about justice. It's about voice. It's about survival. These protests have transformed from a cry for policy change into a national reckoning. And the government's response has only poured fuel on the fire. Analysts say this could be the biggest domestic crisis Angola has faced since the end of its brutal civil war. The ruling MPLA party has long ruled with an iron grip, controlling institutions, suppressing dissent, and monopolizing the media. But this time, the anger is cutting through the fear. This isn't the same Angola of a decade ago. This is a generation that has grown up connected to the world, aware of its rights, and unwilling to accept crumbs while elites feast. International pressure is mounting. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and multiple UN officials have called for an immediate halt to the violence and for all detainees to be released. But so far, the Angolan government remains defiant. They claim the crackdown is necessary to maintain peace and prevent terrorism. But there is no terrorism here, only young people with dreams, mothers with empty pantries, and a nation sick of watching its future fade away. The situation is also exposing deep fractures within the Angolan political elite. There are whispers that some within the MPLA are uneasy with the level of violence. Behind closed doors, there are meetings, arguments, and fears that this could spiral into a full-blown revolution if not addressed with wisdom instead of force. But the question remains, will anyone dare to challenge the president's approach before it's too late? For now, the streets remain tense. Heavily armed police patrol every corner, and drones have reportedly been deployed in some areas for surveillance. Activists have gone underground, using encrypted apps and burner phones to coordinate. Some communities are organizing food banks and emergency care for wounded protesters, creating a grassroots resistance that's starting to resemble a movement more than a moment. And still, more blood is spilled. This is a warning to every authoritarian regime on the continent and beyond. You can suppress people for a while, but when the dam breaks, no amount of bullets can stop the flood. Angola is boiling over, and if the government doesn't change course soon, the situation could erupt into something far more uncontrollable. Let this be a reminder, the people always rise. The question is, how many must fall before those in power finally listen? Stay tuned for more updates as this story continues to develop. We'll keep bringing you the truth, raw and unfiltered. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you been following the situation in Angola? What do you think the international community should do? And how much longer can this go on before real change is forced? Let's talk about it. Angola is speaking. Will the world hear?